Tonight's stories: stealing,
petty,
Deadbeat,
engagement.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Comfort Level Podcast. I'm Madi, and I'm here with
Ely'ssia,
Skylar,
Brandon,
Sam.
I think that's good.
That was so good.
Look at us, our first
Look
five-person
at us.
pod
That's it.
with an engaged couple on the couch.
Oh my gosh! I thought they were married.
Oh, thank you, Husker, for celebrating that.
What?
You're not
Thanks,
married
bro.
already?
No,
Oh.
October.
Oh,
October.
So y'all living in sin.
Yes.
as long as you ask for forgiveness, big guy.
True, man. And I'm like, I am gonna live in sin. I can't wait.
I don't know why you went for the religious angle on that, Sam, when you're
That's
not the
all
most religious person.
That's all I think about is the religious angle of everything.
So you took your toxicity for agreements and you tried to spew it on
and
them.
I spewed it
Yeah.
all over them. I was like, ah.
That's not
Keep
shame.
your poison.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're gonna have 4 agreements Brandon in here too.
Okay. Brandon was calling me because he's been reading through that book. He had the same exact reaction that you and I both had. And it was kind of exciting because Brandon's like, it's just changing the way I think, man.
Yeah.
It's just changing the way I think.
Wait, why does Brandon sound like that?
That's how he sounds to me.
It
He
is.
sounds like that. He sounds nothing
Change
like that.
me.
Sound like
Of
McConaughey
course she
from
makes
Dazed
it
and
worse.
Confused, man.
Just calm, bro. Everything's calm and relaxed.
Relax.
I do think we could change the world if everyone just read 4 agreements. Honestly, I feel that.
People might be a little bit better, but you never know.
No, the world would change.
Okay.
Get 4 agreements in Trump's hands. I think things would be different right now.
Elon, read this book right now.
Elon can't read.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't think get him an audiobook and play 4 agreements for Elon.
Just hit the like and subscribe. Just for that.
So you guys had croissants today, right? Or was it just
Oh,
Ely'ssia?
now you about it.
Why are we laughing about this? What makes this funny?
It was a sausage, egg, and cheese croissant.
Okay.
Well, all I'm saying, because I don't know, can the camera see the windshields? The camera sees?
Yeah, it should be able
In the
to.
main
We're
shot.
eating donuts. Who brought donuts, actually?
Not you.
Brandon brought them, but I got
Oh,
them.
Okay, thanks, Maddie, for the donuts.
Thank
Shout
you.
out! I love me some Winchell's. So
But they were all full when I got here, and I was like, I don't want to take the first one. And then Ely'ssia, for no reason, like there's no reason for her to bring it up, but she was like, I don't want to get the first one because I had a croissant earlier, and I'm like, okay, why did you tell us you had a croissant? And she had her pinky up when she said it. She said, I had a croissant earlier. And so I don't deem myself necessary to eat a donut.
This is a blue collar
Yeah.
podcast.
We're Americans on this podcast. You know what I'm talking about, Skylar.
Amen to
Yeah,
that.
you eat donuts. We don't eat this croissant.
I eat breakfast pizza like a real American.
Exactly.
that's
Come
what I
on
should have
now.
got. I should have got me some. What is it?
Casey.
Casey's,
would've
baby.
hit.
That stuff.
It was
I would've
between.
slept.
It was
I would've fell
between
asleep.
that and Casey's Pizza.
Make you
Oh,
wanna
yeah.
go
Well,
to sleep.
Hy-Vee has really good sausage croissants.
There she
We're
goes with
not talking
croissants
about
again.
croissants now.
This chick had the nerve to eat a donut after she did it too. I said, that's crazy. Eat your croissant somewhere.
She didn't even finish her donut. It was too much.
Yeah.
She's like, it's too much. It's not
She's like,
croissant.
I think that's it's a
Is
good
this
place.
light and flaky? I don't think so.
Okay, so this first story is: am I the asshole for setting up a camera in my boyfriend's room to catch his sister stealing my stuff, and now refusing to go back to their house?
Does the boyfriend know? Because,
That's
I mean, it's good that you got the proof, but if he didn't know, that's still an invasion of privacy at the end of the day.
Am I the asshole for setting up a camera in my boyfriend's room to catch his sister stealing my stuff and now refusing to go back to their house? So my boyfriend lives with his mom and sister, and since we live close to each other, I used to leave a lot of stuff at his house to avoid hauling it back and forth all the time. You know, the usual shampoo, conditioner, skincare, even some clothes. Over time, I started noticing little things going missing. At first, I thought it was just me being forgetful. I have ADHD, so losing track of my stuff isn't exactly unheard of. But then the incident happened. I had just bought a brand new 1 liter bottle of Wella conditioner because hair care is serious business. A week later, almost half of it was gone, which made 0 sense because 1, I had also bought the matching shampoo, and 2, I always use more shampoo than conditioner. Yet somehow the conditioner had vanished at twice the speed, and within a week, nearly half of it was gone. Now, I use more shampoo than conditioner, and my shampoo bottle, the same size, was totally fine. Meanwhile, my boyfriend's sister, who had previously been complaining about needing to buy conditioner all the time, suddenly wasn't. So after a few more of my things going mysteriously missing, I decided I needed proof. I set up a camera in my boyfriend's room, facing the spot where I kept my stuff, and waited. And oh boy, did I get proof. Not only did his sister go through my things multiple times, but she also rummaged through my personal bag, like straight up opened it and looked inside twice, and who knows how many other times she did it before I caught her on camera. At this point, my boyfriend and I agreed we needed to confront her. We told his mom first, hoping to handle it civilly. His mom called his sister into the room, and we showed her the footage, and this girl, with a straight face, lied to our faces, even with video evidence. And then somehow, I became the bad guy. His mom completely turned the situation against me, saying I had no right to put a camera in their house without her permission. Right, because catching someone stealing my things is worse than, actually stealing. Then, because apparently that wasn't enough, she decided to throw in, it's always your trauma and your ADHD, so you're never wrong. I took a deep breath and I kept my cool and I said, I'm going to leave now because this conversation is no longer rational. But you go ahead and make me the villain so you can keep letting your daughter avoid responsibility. And then I walked out. His mom never apologized, and I feel bad because my boyfriend is very emotional and isn't eating well. He says he doesn't feel hungry every time. Also, the way his mom said harmful things to me hurt me a lot. So I'd like to ask you guys, am I the asshole for setting up a camera? And then there's some edits. The look on Sam's face. What's that look mean?
I think sometimes in these stories, because we're always hearing from their perspective, like what that mom said, sometimes the bad guy is telling the story, and you can just say it from your perspective, and it's like fine. You're like, yeah, just put a camera in my boyfriend's room to catch this. Even though I guess it seemed like the boyfriend did know about the camera, because that was my thing. I'm like, why do you have a camera in your boyfriend's like room where he's like changing and doing some other stuff could be caught on this thing, and the mom saying like, oh, you like play the victim. I'm like, I think some people are like that where they're constantly trying to play the victim in these situations. Now playing it, if this is their complete perspective and this is exactly true, I do think it's right. You're like, hey, your daughter's stealing my stuff. Do something about it. But if the mom turns around, then stop keeping your stuff there. I don't know. It is their house at the end of the day. Like, it's not right that they took your stuff. But if that's their position on what you said to them when you bring this argument to them, then take the stuff away and then don't have this issue. Because it's still not your house. That's, at the end of the day, it really isn't your house. You have your stuff there, but it's their house. So they're doing what they want to do in your house. So take your things and put it in your own place. For me, I don't think it's that big a deal. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I thought the whole story was about conditioner. And I'm like, well, it's community use if it's in the shower.
Well, I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, you don't?
Well, no, not necessarily. But I do think if it's in the shower, I should move it so I don't expect people accidentally use it if they run out. Mm-hmm. But I don't think people should be like, oh, just because my stuff is in the shower, I can use it. Because people like Sam are like, it's in the shower?
100%.
I'm going to test it out. I'm going to see what, because you said that before.
Yeah, I am using my friends.
Yeah, when I go to my friend's house, I'm using their stuff.
Yeah.
So if you don't want me to use it, you need to hide it from me because I'm going to use it. Yeah. I'm not bringing my stuff.
I'm the same way.
But it's like you guys both live in the house. I think that's a little different of like the sister also lives in the house to presumably also have her stuff. So that's when it turns into, okay, we're both, it's like a roommate situation, I feel like, where eventually it becomes a point where it's like, I buy my own stuff, you buy your own stuff. Yeah, there's some stuff where it is community use, but it's usually talked about beforehand, not assumed. And it sounds like she was keeping this all to herself. But what do you think about this, Skylar and Brandon? Because I'm not sure how I feel about Sam's position. Just a little bit.
Yeah. I think there's better ways to find out if she was stealing besides putting the camera. Because I do agree with Sam. It's not your house.
Yeah.
So if you have this, if you're suspecting that, why are you keeping it there? But I think the thing is too, she hid it in her boyfriend's room. So it wasn't like it was out there. But at the same time, if you got untrustworthy people, just don't keep stuff that you
Yeah,
care about
yeah.
in places where untrustworthy people are going to be doing stuff. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know. I think it's the tone and delivery. That's the big problem for me. Just, hey, you're doing this, and then the mom flipping it back. I don't like that part, but yeah, I mostly agree with Sam. It's just, it's not your place, so don't hold stuff there.
Yeah.
But I think a better way would have been to maybe tag something, like put a sticker somewhere that
That's what I
only
was
you would
thinking.
know
Yeah.
where it was at,
Mhm.
and it's like, hey, no, she's clearly stealing.
Yeah.
There's a sticker right here, or put it under the label, so it's like, this is mine. She stole it.
See, and I know, like you said, like a roommate situation.
Mm-hmm.
I had a roommate in college. He would literally take a Sharpie every day after using his stuff
Crazy.
and mark it.
Yeah.
And if it was gone, like we had another roommate, he would use your shampoo and stuff if he'd run out. And he had been using it for a week while homie was out on vacation, came back, and he's like, well, no, I didn't use your stuff. And he's like, no, you clearly did, because there's this much missing. What the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you could, like you said, you can mark it like that. But like Sam said, don't keep it if you don't want someone using it. Don't keep it there. It's their stuff. It's their house.
I kind of don't think she's the asshole because of what she said specifically. Like you said, if it's an unreliable narrator, let's say if the villain is the person writing this. Okay. But from what she gave, she said it's in his room, and she goes on to say the boyfriend did know, and it's not like because we're only presuming the boyfriend knew. But also she said it was a specific spot where her stuff was. So it's not like it's just in an open area.
Yeah.
I think once, you get the feedback of the mom basically being like, hey, don't do that. Understandable. I will take my stuff out because I can't trust you. And I think the only reason why maybe the marker thing would be good, but I wasn't sure about marking stuff with a sticker or whatever, because it's things that can be used up, but you'll never get back. She can't be like, hey, can I get my clothes back? It's things that she's buying that are being used too fast.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, I don't think what she did was wrong. But once it got corrected of the mom being like, hey, don't do that. Even though it's I'm literally aiming it at my shoes to see if she's putting on my, I'm aiming it at my purse to see if she's looking at my
Right.
purse, and she is. And the mom wanted to deflect from that completely, which is wrong too. So I think it's you're comparing a rock to a pebble of, my daughter did steal, but I'm going to look at you filming in my house, filming on your stuff specifically. So I can understand why people are it's wrong, but I do think if you're doing it once to test something out, if it's on your stuff and your boyfriend knows it's in his room.
And I do think my opinion's only from this vague vibe of a victim mentality kind of person who plays a victim in a lot of situations. This is completely my thinking. I don't think it's necessarily true about OP in the situation. It's just my vibe of this person.
Yeah, because I wasn't getting that.
Yeah, but I do agree. I do agree with you. Well, I think my problem with people sometimes is we all feel we need to have justice. We need to get somebody. It feels good to get somebody or catch someone in the act, and so we do things to get justice that I don't think is necessarily. You're making the situation bigger, to me.
I think if it's your money and your stuff goes missing and sister's going to lie about it, even when there's video evidence, it's good to, you're saying, it's good to be I'm validating this for myself. I know where it went missing. I won't film in your house anymore. I understand that. I probably won't even be allowed at your house anymore. We'll see what goes on with that.
Right.
But then it's I'm not bringing my stuff over to your house.
Oh,
shoot. She's probably going to have to get her stuff and move out of the house.
Yeah.
But I think the validation is good to be I know, because you won't even admit it with video evidence. You did take stuff. I shouldn't be leaving my stuff at your house, obviously, because you guys can just dig in it whenever you want, because this is your house. And I think leave it at that, because the mom also doesn't sound like she takes accountability for her daughter either.
Because that is the red flag with the mom, is seeing the video evidence and still turning it around about the video.
Yeah,
that was wild.
Yeah, because when I first heard it, I thought it was kind of one of those things where a mom's just going to protect her children regardless. But I don't know, because that doesn't, her sticking up for her daughter doesn't necessarily help her daughter with accountability skills.
Right. It lets her be able to have a fallback.
Yeah.
And her mom's always going to like
Protect her.
never hold her accountable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when the police catch you on camera and you just say, it wasn't me, they're going to take you to jail probably.
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
They're like, well, there's actually evidence leading to.
And the mom comes in and like, why do they have cameras in this jewelry store then? Why do they have cameras pointing at where the jewelry is?
Why are you recording my daughter without her permission?
Yeah. She's trying to steal from your establishment. Why do you have cameras recording her doing that? I think that's on you.
If you didn't have cameras, you wouldn't have known.
Yeah, exactly.
She didn't give you consent to record.
My
She didn't
problem
give
is
you
the
consent to
cameras.
record.
She's going to steal because that's what she does, but the cameras are actually the issue.
And then that's when you start punching moms. Like this next story.
Kleptomaniac.
Never mind, I got turned around completely on that story.
Okay. I'm just gonna read the edits because it's really short, and I said I was gonna read edits. So 1, my boyfriend knew about the camera. 2, me and my boyfriend are both 27. His sister is 20/21, and his mom is 58. 3, his sister has the means to buy her own conditioner. She gets what would be like $300 monthly from her dad and uses her dad's credit card. So it's like, yeah.
Oh.
I don't like her putting the mom's age out for some reason.
You said, dang.
She's giving everybody's
I
age.
feel like it was unnecessary. It's like okay for the kids, but I'm like, don't tell them.
You're like the mom. I don't know. She's like older or whatever.
Yeah, she's like 30 or something.
58. Dang.
Dang. Oh, that's from Kevin Hart when he's talking to Don Cheadle.
Damn. And he was like,
He's like, oh,
sorry.
yeah, sorry.
Sorry about that.
Damn.
It's been a while since I've been to the doctor, and I honestly keep pushing it off. I feel like I'm like, oh, well, I'm too busy, or I don't know which doctor to go to, or it'll heal on its own, right? I think we've all been there. Booking a doctor appointment can be so daunting, but thanks to ZocDoc, there's no reason for us to delay. They make it really easy to find and book a doctor who's right for you. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with over 100,000 doctors across every specialty. And that's from mental health to dental health. That's primary care to urgent care and more. You can filter your doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, and a good fit for any medical need you may have, and are highly rated by verified patients. Once you find the right doctor, you can see their actual appointment openings, choose a time slot that works for you, and click to instantly book an appointment. And typically within 24 hours to 72 hours of booking. There's even same-day appointments. I need this product, and it's what I'd use. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/CLP to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/CLP. ZocDoc.com/CLP. And thank you to ZocDoc for sponsoring this video. And thank you to our listeners for using ZocDoc to support our podcast. Okay, so this next story is, am I the asshole for not explicitly stating my punch is non-alcoholic?
Oh, that punch.
Oh, it's
like,
non-alcoholic?
Yeah, and she didn't tell everybody that it's non-alcoholic.
No, I think you have to say the other way.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to be telling people that it's
Yeah, but if it's
alcohol.
not alcoholic, that's fine. You're just drinking juice. You don't have to warn people of that.
I, 25, female, recently attended a potluck-style work party and brought punch, which has since caused a problem between myself and another coworker, 42 female, who we'll call Sandy. Last week, my boss hosted a party at his house to celebrate the end of a busy season and a job well done. All of my coworkers and their spouses were invited, and we decided it would work well to do a potluck to offset the cost of feeding everyone, about 35 people, since not everyone who came brought a spouse or significant other. I volunteered to make a punch that I brought to previous work events that everyone said they enjoyed, as well as some fruit to go with it. This was a casual party with alcohol present, but since I had some coworkers who don't drink, I didn't add any alcohol to this punch, and I figured that if people really wanted some, they could just add it themselves. Fast forward a couple of hours, and Sandy is getting even louder and more dramatic than normal and is stumbling around the party. I don't think much of it, and I figured she brought her own drinks or was adding some of the host's alcohol that was put out in something else. She suddenly fell off the chair she was sitting on and made a big show of saying that it's because I was so drunk. It's because she was so drunk. And then she asked me in front of the rest of the coworkers, what was it that you put in that punch? And I was confused. I told her what was in it, which was just a mix of ginger ale, 7-Up, orange juice, and a can of juice concentrate. And she was like, no, like what alcohol did I put in it? Because she'd been drinking it all night and she was really feeling it. And I told her I didn't put any alcohol in it. And I asked if somebody else maybe had spiked the punch, and nobody said anything. One of my other coworkers who doesn't even drink said that they've been drinking it all night and that they were completely sober. I would also like to clarify that I understand how context can matter. Like if everyone else was really drunk, then that can make even a sober person feel like they're loaded. But that definitely was not the vibe. Sandy was the only person acting drunk. She then got really quiet and went by herself to the bathroom. The rest of my coworkers and I exchanged awkward glances and just tried to laugh it off. She left shortly after, and I received an angry text from her about how I shouldn't have embarrassed her like that, and that now she looks like an idiot in front of our bosses and the rest of our coworkers. She's been hostile to me at work ever since and is basically refusing to talk to me. I didn't think I did anything wrong, and most of my coworkers agree with me, but some say I should have just let her go on thinking that punch was alcoholic to save her the embarrassment. And I'm wondering now if I'm in the wrong. Am I the asshole?
No.
My God.
No, you put someone in check, all right?
And they asked for it. They kept
That's
asking.
So
Yep.
embarrassing.
And
Oh my God, when you put it in check.
It's pretty bad that everyone there is sober, and can't you just look around and be like, I'm the only one acting like this.
It's just
Like-
like drunk. I can't see.
She was too drunk to read the room.
Good on her for feeling herself and vibing that hard with nothing in her system.
yeah.
But
She was drunk off life.
yes,
So
sir.
I want to read this top comment here because I think it's kind of funny. How would it be any less embarrassing if the punch was actually alcoholic? Either way, it means Sandy doesn't have the sense to limit or moderate her
100%.
drinking in front of her bosses and coworkers at a work party. When she was like trying to blame her to be like, it's your fault, you embarrassed me. It's like, no, you're acting crazy. And you're not even drunk
Yeah.
to
You're a lightweight.
excuse that. You're like, sorry, I've been drinking a little too much. This is totally in your control. You're choosing to do this.
You're on carbonated bubbles from pop.
And especially in that situation, I've been more worried about lying because someone said they were sober
Yeah.
and they're drinking. And I'm like, so you're like, yeah, I did put alcohol in. And someone like, I was 4 years sober and I've been drinking this punch the whole time. I'm like, oh, I was just, I didn't mean that. I'm like, I'm just going to tell the truth. That's the
Right.
worst the other way, saying, oh, like, yeah, I spiked y'all.
Well, also, I think they were trying to be like, I'm 4 years sober
Yeah.
and I'm not feeling a
I'm
thing.
not feeling anything. And I know alcohol. I had a problem. I know alcohol. Well, it makes me sad because I know in my like early 20s, people they did need alcohol to like feel
Oh yeah.
like the liquid courage. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
need to go do something, so I'm going to drink to like be more outgoing and be more. And I feel like that's what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was like, I want to like be da da da, so I'm going to be drinking it. And it's the placebo effect. Like
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I have the courage. I'm drinking it, so I'm going to be like for the party. I got someone I got my eye on at work. I'm about to start talking to him, and the person's looking at them like.
It's her boss, Craig.
Yeah, she's like,
She's a receptionist, and she always takes his calls from his
huge
wife,
crush,
and she's
yeah.
just like, he's busy.
yeah.
Sorry, Craig, your wife called. She wanted to leave a message. She didn't want to call you, but
She didn't want to
wanted
say
to leave
anything,
a message.
actually. I would take more care of you if I was your wife, but who knows? Sandy's been after her boss for years, and this
Yeah.
was her time. She's like, I'm going to get really drunk at the party, I'm going to kiss him, and blame it on the alcohol. And it didn't go out.
Because that's what happened. She went and sat at the chair next to Craig, and then it broke. And she was like, "Oh my god, I've been drinking,
I've been
Craig."
drinking.
Ah."
In all
You want to
honesty,
help me go to the bathroom?
Sandy sounds like she's the one that's already been divorced. With the bob cut and
Maybe.
the
Sandy.
terrible cardigan.
It could be the Karen cut or the bob cut.
No, the bob cut.
Okay.
Got the bob cut. Oh yeah.
Hey, don't sleep on the bob cut.
She's like,
Don't sleep on the bob cut.
Don't give a start.
Sometimes the bob cut go a little crazy.
that's because you like moms.
And accurate.
Oh,
I guess.
that one damaged him.
He was trying to think of a comeback. He's
I
like,
could because I was like,
no, that's good.
I've
That's
never
good,
been
that's good.
seen. I've never been seen so thoroughly before.
He was like, I
One
thought I
line.
was
You got
wearing.
read like a book.
He's like, I didn't
right
know I was
there.
wearing a camouflage sweatshirt because I
Yeah.
feel seen through right now.
But I can feel the embarrassment of Sandy.
Oh yeah.
Of everybody at the party, like, no, there's no alcohol. And
Oh.
you go in the bathroom, just look at yourself in the mirror. How do I get out of this? How do I get out of this?
I think I'm still drunk.
Yeah,
actually.
I must be drunk because there's no way that happened out there. I'd be furious at OP.
man.
I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk to OP ever again. I know it's my fault, but I'm like, I hate you. You're my enemy
So
now.
if you were OP in this situation and you were kind of guessing, like you could tell what was happening where you're
Yeah.
like, girl, there's no alcohol in here. Would you try and help Sandy out? Or like, would you feel bad afterwards if she was like, you couldn't have helped me out by saying there was alcohol in there? What do you do?
I don't think I would have announced it in front of
Like loud.
everybody.
You don't think
There's
you would have done
no
what Sandy
alcohol
did?
in that.
Oh, okay. What OP did?
I would have just been like, there's no alcohol in
He whispers, sorry.
Let me help you stand up.
Yeah.
Let's go clean yourself up.
No, it's just like when you're drunk at the bar with your homie and he's acting a fool. You just pull him aside real quick. Just listen. You're acting an idiot. Let's go over here real quick.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in the punch.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we're going to fix yourself and we're going to go have a good time. Break.
With your drunk friend. That's like your friend acting drunk. You're like, buddy, man, you're drinking Kool-Aid. There's nothing in there.
Yeah. Like you
what
need
is
to
going
get a
on
hold of
with you?
yourself, man. We can talk about this in the morning. Whatever's actually going
We're
on.
both drinking juice. What are you doing?
We got Welch's in these.
Not the Welch's.
I honestly think I would make that mistake of accidentally embarrassing her though. Like, especially if we weren't close and she would like say it in front of everybody. And I'd be like, oh, I would just say it.
You so
I would
would
totally
say
be the
it,
person to
Maddie.
just, and then I'd be like, I look back and I'm like, well, I don't know you very well.
Yeah.
And you made a fool of yourself, but I could have maybe not said that if
Yeah.
I thought about it, which is probably what, because I feel like I do think Ely'ssia would do that. She'd be like, so there's no, let's go to the bathroom. There's nothing in there. And it wasn't, it's not Spike. It's not Spike. It's all you.
Or that song from Love and Basketball. Like, you made a fool of
Oh
me.
my.
Tell me why. That's me. I'm in the crying in the bathroom, just singing that song. Like,
She
okay.
was stressing.
Yeah. Die.
Okay, so this next story is, am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law it's not my fault she married a deadbeat and to figure it out?
Dang. Don't talk to your mother like that.
Mother-in-law.
Oh, then yeah, say whatever you want to say.
So it's mother-in-law.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay,
Yeah,
am
I
I
wouldn't
the
talk to my mother-in-law like that. That's crazy.
Am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law it's not my fault she married a deadbeat and to figure it out? So I'm 25 and my husband is 28. We just had our first baby 4 days ago. I've just been released from the hospital yesterday. My mother-in-law is bombarding my husband with calls because she's old and sick and wants him to take care of her. My husband took 2 weeks off of work to stay with me and the baby to care for me after the C-section and bond with our daughter. Mother-in-law took that as him being free and available and refuses to acknowledge that he's not on vacation. It hasn't been easy. There were complications and I lost a lot of blood. I'm in a lot of pain to the point where I can't even stand up on my own. Our baby is very fussy and crying a lot. We're not really sleeping because she literally cries every hour. The first time mother-in-law called was literally 3 minutes after I gave birth and wanted him to go to her because she wasn't feeling well. She kept calling every hour while I was still in the hospital. My husband stayed with me the entire time because, like I said, I lost a lot of blood and I wasn't feeling well. He put his phone on DND and didn't turn it off until I was discharged. We were still in the hospital parking lot when she called. He answered, and when he explained the situation, she lost her absolute mind and he ended the call. She hasn't stopped calling him, and he has blocked her number
No.
last night at 4 a.m. after 73 calls from her. She started calling me this morning, and I tried to be polite, but after 15 calls between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m., where she called me names, yelled at me, and insulted me, I snapped and I told her to leave us alone because we have a newborn at the house. She said she doesn't understand. Why can't he go to her because her husband never took care of her after she gave birth and wasn't really involved with the kids until they were 3 to 4 years old? And I told her it's not my fault she married and had kids with a deadbeat and to leave us alone and figure her own shit out like an adult. My husband is on my side, but we're obviously biased considering the amount of stress we're under at the moment. So I'm asking because I don't know if it's just stress in the hormones and we're actually the problem, or she is out of her mind to expect my husband to leave me alone at home in this condition. I'm posting here because I need unbiased opinions.
No, not a bit.
But get some rest, chick. This is 4 days after you have the baby. Don't write a Reddit story right now.
Yeah.
Go sleep.
I think the mother just wants attention on her. Is what it sounds like.
It sounds like enmeshment.
What's enmeshment?
Let me look it up to be exact, but I think I know what it means. It's basically like when the mother treats the son like the husband.
Oh, like a spouse.
Yep.
Oof.
No.
But maybe he was a mama's boy before the baby.
Well, regardless, if I could take my hat off right now for the dude for putting it on DND right off the bat, you know what? Good on you, dude. Like,
that's my priority. Yes, that's his priority.
Looking out for his old lady and his kid.
Yeah.
Enmeshment is a psychological term that describes a lack of boundaries between family. It can occur in families, romantic relationships, or friendships.
Sounds like it. Yeah, because she's had kids. So she's like, she should know how hard it is to have a baby. The beginning times you're learning so much stuff. They want to be in it together, and it's even worse because there's medical complications. Mm-hmm. Take a hint, Mom. Mm-hmm. I got to be with my girl and my kid.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think you're the asshole. I think because of the stress, you guys might have said it in a very clear way without any care of, mother-in-law's feelings, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that because she's not getting the point. So I feel like with those people, you need to be clear of I don't care if you didn't have the best relationship with your husband. What my husband is doing now, your son, is what should have been happening. Right. And you're being a part of taking away from him being a good husband to me just because you want him around because of your own trauma, Yeah. I'm sorry that happened to you, but you're being the problem.
Yeah.
100%. You didn't have this baby.
Yeah. So.
Which I can see the only reason I don't think they're an asshole, and they probably talk about it in the update about the words they spoke. Mm-hmm. I probably would have did what the husband did. I would have blocked them. There should be no calls. I just stopped paying attention. Yeah. I probably wouldn't have said anything. I'm like, you're calling 73 times. I'm blocking you. We got something to deal with right now.
Yeah.
Hit me up in a month when we're trying to settle down.
And we talked about this a little bit last time with, we shot an episode with our friend Jazz, and it was the story was about this woman her toddler was sick and her husband was getting sick from the toddler. And he was she started yelling at him because he was he wanted her to baby him, but it wasn't really fair because he kind of kept her up all night, was asking her for things, was being loud in bed while he's like, I'm getting sick. And then he was like, don't worry, I'll still take the morning shift for the baby who's sick. And then around 5:45 in the morning, he wakes her up again, for the 5th time. He'd been waking her up all night. And he was like, can you watch the baby? Can you do the shift? And so she was really upset because he was basically wanting to be babied by her. And then we ended up asking the boys, is this a real thing? When you're sick, do you like being babied by your girlfriend?
Don't nod so hard. Why is she nodding so hard?
And they were saying yes. They're we like
she
it. She
nodded really hard.
But I feel in that story, the man was taking advantage of it. I think there's a good mix of wanting to be babied by your partner to a certain extent because you're I like the fact that you take care of me.
Let me get you some water. Get you some tea.
Give me some tea.
But men do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't do anything because I'm so sick. We have a period.
And there they go. That's what happens every time. I want to get baby a little. I don't get sick that often. I can want to get baby a little bit, and then you're you got to bring up the period. I'm like, oh my gosh.
You try,
but I don't get sick that often. But
Well,
I
how about you
mean,
get baby a little bit? I'm like,
I don't want to
if I'm a
discredit what you
period.
guys are saying, but I think Ely'ssia's period argument is good, and I think that's why you guys are throwing up your hands.
No,
at it.
if you came to me, because I get mad when they use the argument, like, I have my period. I'm like, if you came to me, I'm like, because I've had some girlfriends who are like, can you give me some chocolates? I'm like, yeah, I'll get you some chocolates, girl. I'll baby you too. Just like
I know,
get
he
babied.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see? So I just want a little, I can't get a period every month.
Which is why
so
I'm
I'm
saying-
gonna, when I get a cold, I'm gonna be like,
To a
But
certain
I'm
extent,
saying
I think it's
certain
fair for
men
people
do
to be
take
babied.
advantage of it.
Yes.
Well-
and then they forget, like, well, I technically get sick every month.
Yeah.
but
because I'm gonna get you some chocolates, I'm gonna rub your feet.
They're not a
Every
man
month.
if they're taking advantage of it. That's still a boy. Because a man would understand, oh, yeah,
that.
she, my significant other helped me out enough to where I'm feeling all right for a minute. I need to get my ass up and I need to take care of what's getting done.
Right.
What's going
Preach,
down.
Skylar.
You need to get your stuff in order. That way you can feel sorry for yourself later.
Totally agreed, because the story.
That's why I'm marrying
Yeah,
him.
I'm like, that's a man right there.
Struggle now and
least he was like-
be happy later.
All mine. He's taking.
Yeah, he's like,
Ely'ssia was like,
Oh.
you say the most romantic things right now. But I agree. I think that's kind of our sentiment about the story, that I know you guys didn't get to hear it, but it was basically like, bro, you're pushing it too far. You're taking
Yeah.
advantage of it. And it sounds like to a certain extent that's what the mom's doing with her son. Like, just because he's off for 2 weeks, he's not on vacation. At this point, he didn't know his wife was going to have complications. So now it's not just bonding with his daughter, it's taking
Yeah.
care of his wife.
Yeah,
And that doesn't mean just because he's free, he can come see you and you have to make an excuse of feeling sick.
yeah.
Like, that's not fair.
Yeah, no.
The lack of understanding too.
Yeah.
Right.
C-section, loss of blood, and you're tweaked. Nah.
Yeah.
It does sound like what enmeshment. Yeah, that definitely
Good job.
sounds lack. Thank you. I've been learning stuff every time we have a podcast.
Am I the asshole for calling off the engagement after my fiance kept saying I will give him a baby once we're married?
You're gonna give me a baby.
You're gonna give me a baby.
Yeah.
I don't care how you do it.
I do.
You
baby
find a
next.
baby and you're gonna give it to me. I don't care if you have to steal, beg, borrow, cheat. Get me a baby.
Am I the asshole for calling off the engagement after my fiance kept saying I will give him a baby once we're married? My fiance, 31 male, and I, 25 female, have been together for 2 years and engaged for 6 months. We both wanted kids at some point but never set a specific timeline. Lately, though, he's been making comments about how I'll give him a baby once we're married. The first time I let it go, but when he said it another time, I joked back, so that's my job now. And he's like, yeah, you're the one making it. I told him that the way he was wording it was rubbing me the wrong way, and he rolled his eyes and said I was overthinking it. But he said it like a couple more times later, and I started to feel less excited about starting a family. I told him straight up that it was making me uncomfortable after he said it like that again later on, and he laughed it off and said, it's not that deep, that's just how it works. And in that moment, I was starting to feel done. So I called off the engagement. He said I was being ridiculous over a poor choice of words. His family got involved and is telling me I misunderstood him and that he just meant he was excited to start a family with me. I'm wondering if I overreacted. Am I the asshole?
I don't think so.
No. I mean,
I wish you would.
well,
Oh my god.
once again, I'm chucking that non-existent watch. Anytime. No, that guy's kind of a, for lack of a better term, a bitch for getting his family involved.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Sorry if you have to cut that out.
That's fine.
But, seriously, that really irritated me to hear that he got his. Bro, grow up. Yes, if you guys are fighting over lack of better words, say, hey man, I'm sorry. All right, even if you don't mean it, I mean you should mean it, but even if you don't mean it, kiss, make up, and figure out another way to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, if she's already engaged with you, wants kids with you, just because it's not right now, doesn't mean it's not going to be later. Just fucking grow a pair and wait.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's one of those stories where it's not what he's saying, it's like the fact that he keeps saying it.
Right.
yeah.
It's like you're not listening to
expressed
me.
She doesn't want it and you keep doing it.
Just
Yeah.
because.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Yeah.
I'm like, for sure, you're not the asshole, especially if you're engaged. I'm like, this is before you get married, before you're making this huge decision. If you can't respect me just to say a different phrase or say it a different way, then like, what else are you not going to be able to do when we're married, when things are more serious? And I need you to not do something, and you're like, I don't really care. You can't even not do this. So what else can you not do?
Right. Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna. I don't need to get married to you then, because you can't change this simple thing.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
It's just one little one
just
little
like,
thing.
I can't wait to put a baby in you. Like, switch it up. Say different things.
And it's like you're saying it more now because I told you not to.
Yeah. So
That's the bigger
That's
issue.
the annoying part.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest issue.
I was like, how do you know whether, as a person who likes to annoy people, how do you know if it's like a good annoying where you're like, I'm just messing with you and I'm going to do it a lot, versus this is a step too far, you're doing it too much. How do I know when not?
Actually,
I think that's when you talk to each other. I think that's what she was trying to say. Like, okay, the first couple times
if
was
they're
a
explicitly
joke.
saying stop
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah.
And then you still do it,
you
then
still
you're
do
like,
it,
okay, you don't get it.
If they had to pull you aside and be like, I don't like this, then you should know this is serious. Oh, no. Don't do it again.
Yeah.
I think that said that to me.
He said, oh no.
I think I kept going. Oh no. Oh, Maddie's looking at me too. Oh no.
I was gonna say we literally had an example like this, but I didn't know if you wanted to.
No, we did have an example of this.
And it was bad too. It was
just popped up
how
in
many
my head.
times do I need to I told you so many times, and I think you only finally got it when you said that you did the joke again, and I started ignoring it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not going to feed into it because he thinks it's funny when I feed into it, when I'm genuinely being like, I don't like when you make that joke.
Yeah.
It's not funny. And I said it multiple times at that point, and then I think you were saying, you said the joke again, I didn't feed into it, but my face was like a look of disgust.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's when you're like, oh. Like, I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it really is a matter of listening to people when they say, I don't like that. Even if you're a person who you're like, but I like annoying you.
Yeah.
I think you should know your audience. Like, I don't like people annoying me just to do that. Some people like that. I think you should know your audience, know who you're talking to, because when I say it, I'm like, because that's what my brother does all the time. And I don't think it's funny.
Especially with that situation, because I'm like, hey, 100% that was all me. You are a specific person that are in a way like that as well.
Yeah.
So it's like when you like see that in a person, you can go too far. Where you're like, no, I also have boundaries. Even if I'm willing to go certain distances, there's boundaries I have. And that was always my problem, is like, oh, I see you as me.
Yeah.
We have, even though I have boundaries too, like there's things where I'm like, okay, chill. It might be a lot further than many people, but I'm like, well, if I see you like me, then I'm going to go far. And they're like, no, actually, that was my boundary. I'm like, I don't believe you.
Yeah, you didn't believe me.
Yeah.
No.
Which I'm trying to improve on. I'm trying to get better.
Yeah.
I haven't made the joke.
No, you haven't. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I wish it would have happened a little bit sooner, but
It
I
did happen for a
appreciate
long-
that it eventually
it
happened.
did happen a long period of time.
But yeah. So I don't know. I think, but even with this one, I think it's just a matter of, like top commenter said, trust your gut. It may have been a poor choice of words, but you know him well enough to know it wasn't. So.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know, it sucks, but sometimes engagements end. It's over. It's the death of it. Like this next story. Okay, so this next story is from r/comfort level pod, and it is, am I the asshole for letting my friendship die?
No.
Depends.
For letting it die.
Sometimes they do.
You keep starting things like you have a whole thing to say, and then you
And then it just
stop.
stops.
It's like, that was so
I want to
loaded.
hear the
Sometimes
story.
they do.
And it was a smugness actor. Sometimes they do.
Because I have a friendship that died. So.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. It'd be happening.
It's kind of like on life support, but it's basically dead. It's not, it will never be the same. Yeah.
That's how I am with my best man right now.
Yeah. All right. Am I the asshole for letting my friendship die? I, 28 female, am increasingly disappointed by my friend Kim, 30 female. We've been friends for about 6 years. She claims to be my best friend, but isn't acting like it. I've shown up for her anytime she needed me, but she can't do the same for me. I helped plan her bachelorette party, traveled for her destination wedding, planned her sister's gender reveal because Kim wanted to be surprised too, decorated for her sister's baby shower. I have shown up countless times when she needed a friend to talk to. I enjoyed doing all of these things for her and her family, but the lack of support on her end is finally getting to me. 1, constantly canceling plans. I enjoy hanging out with her and have similar interests, but she is awful at keeping plans. She has a cute habit of canceling or rescheduling our plans often. I'm not exaggerating when I say about 75% of the time our plans get canceled by her. When it first started, I was very understanding and let it slide. Things happen, and I do not want to make people feel bad for canceling on me. She typically cites a family emergency or feeling under the weather, and I respond with, no worries, just let me know when you want to reschedule. I will literally be walking out of the door to go meet her somewhere, and my phone dings to say she's not coming. It's become a joke between my husband and I at this point. It's very disappointing because I look forward to the girl time, not to mention that I have cleared my schedule for her or sunk money into whatever our plans are, only to have that all wasted. Number 2, free therapy. My husband jokes that she only hangs out with me when she needs free therapy. I have ignored this for a long time, but I am now starting to think he is right. In my most recent hangouts with Kim, she has even admitted to mainly hanging out with me when she needs to vent. Side note, she does have a real therapist. 3, she can't show up for me. The last time I saw her, we were, as you could guess, talking about her. Mid-conversation, she stops and says to me, I know your life's not perfect too, so I don't understand how you're handling life much easier than me. I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember her exact choice of words, and that's when I revealed how wrong she was. I have been battling deeply personal mental health issues that only my husband and therapist know about. It was in that moment that I decided to reveal it all with her. I was so vulnerable with her in that moment that I was shaking with sadness. I withheld this information from her for so long because I did not want to burden her. And after I shared everything with her, she went back to talking about herself. She didn't acknowledge what I said, offer a hug, nothing. I left that interaction feeling sad and disappointed. What sucks is I legitimately enjoy her company and supporting her in her times of need. I have plans of talking things out with her the next time we hang out, but she keeps canceling on me. At this point, I feel like I need to cut off contact. I think I have to stop going out of my way for her and let the friendship fizzle. But I feel like I'm the one in the wrong. Am I the asshole for letting the friendship end?
No.
FTB.
Preach.
What does that mean?
It's in the Bible. It's Leviticus.
It means fuck that bitch.
Okay, thank you.
Leviticus 2.
I just kept thinking of all the ways that it could have been in my head, and I just wasn't coming up with a plausible response. I was like,
right.
for the win? No, FTB. But no, I get this. I actually had a very similar situation too, where it felt like literally whenever this person called me, it was to vent about their life. And they had literally said the same exact thing. They're like, I can't remember what she said. Do you remember what she said, Brendan? I feel like I told you.
Yeah, because I think I clocked the same way the husband did. I was like, she's not.
Oh, she literally told me that she called me because nobody else answered.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, wow. Thanks for letting me. Yeah. She was like, you were the last person I could call. Like, but she didn't. It didn't sound like that. It was like nobody else answered, so I called you. Yeah. And I'm like,
and I knew you would answer.
Yes, and it would be like that, just venting all the time. Yeah. Like, Maddie, I have to tell you about this thing, and then it would not be reciprocated, and it was to the point where it felt like I was like wasting my time. And so yeah, we're not like not friends at all, because then something even bigger happened where I just felt like she expected something of me that I didn't think that was in the fine print of our friendship. I was like, I'm not required to do that for you.
Yeah.
And she got really upset with me, and I was like, I didn't care, because I was like, I don't care if you want to make me feel bad for doing this. I'm not doing that for you.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like a shitty friend for not doing that for you.
Right.
And so we kind of both pulled back. And now we're like closer, but we're not really close. Brandon gave me some good advice. He was like, basically be there for her like as much as she is there for you. Like, it's not bad to have acquaintances, you know. Yeah. You don't have to completely cut somebody off and like block them. They can be like acquaintances where you really don't talk to them very much, but you can be civil when you see them. And I think it's kind of made the relationship a lot better, even though I haven't really communicated with her. And that's might be where I'm lacking, is like, I don't think we're friends anymore. But it's kind of made it better where I don't feel like this pressure of trying to be friends where I'm like, hey, we can go out if you want to go out. But then I also know she's probably never going to schedule that go out and I'm not going to wait on it, you know? And I'm not going to be the one texting her first. Cause I think that's also what I stopped doing is I stopped texting her first. And I don't think I ever really got a response back to this day. Like it's more of like, when I see you, I see you.
Yeah.
It's cool. But I think definitely you should be giving as much as they're giving in the relationship. And it sounds like they're not really giving anything and it sounds like you are their personal therapist and it's a one-sided friendship.
Yeah.
And I think you should pull back. I think it's interesting that you feel bad though. I don't think it's your fault.
I don't think it's interesting that she feels bad because it's the whole relationship thing, like just having that closeness to somebody.
Yeah.
Or you think it's closeness and then the more you look at it objectively, it is one-sided. Because I remember that call too, because I remember you telling me after it, she just hung up. So with your personal one.
Yeah.
She just hung up. So it's like putting it in perspective there, someone literally calls you to tell them your problems and then leaves. And that's it. Like,
doesn't ask you about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was also my big point. Like with having acquaintances, you know, you can't really expect much from them, like on a friend level. And like keeping them at an acquaintance and knowing that you're just going to be there and it's cool. I can be cordial. But like some friends, I literally don't talk. Like Anthony, sometimes we can go months. Shout out Anthony, friend of the show too. We can go months without talking. But when we call and check in, it's like a check-in. Like for real, for real. So just having someone just almost disrespect you as a friend is interesting to have around.
Yeah.
And I don't think you shouldn't feel sad, but just knowing like the relationship that you guys did have, you're technically in a phase of mourning right now. You kind of have to understand, yeah, this is like a death of something you thought was stronger in your head. You have to get rid of that. You have to just let it die. So it will be sad regardless. You will feel bad for doing it, but it'll be better for you in the end.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I do feel like in this situation, because I see it as the same thing as like the whole chore division of labor conversation. If you're in this situation, especially in knowing Madi's situation, like it's blatant, like it is very one-sided. But if you're going into the friendship thinking like it has to be 50-50, like I do all this stuff for you and you have to do all this stuff for me, I think that's a bad way to look at friendship.
Yeah.
I think OP was saying like, I really like doing these things for the people. Like it's not a burden because I enjoy doing this for my friend. But if you're going in expecting like, I want all this to happen to me, I think it is going to create a conflict where you're almost like doing scores. You're like keeping score of what I've done for you and what you've done for me. And I think that's a bad way to go into any relationship. But what I want in a relationship, I'm like, I just want to feel like there is equity. Like there is at least similar effort on both sides. Yeah. So if someone's not putting that similar effort in, regardless of the number of things I've done and the number of things you've done, if I don't feel that, then I'm like, yeah, then this doesn't serve me and I don't feel bad about it. What I had in my personal life was before therapy, when I was friends with people, it was like very surface level. And people would tell me all their stuff. They would tell me everything. And I would not share everything. I would not share anything with them. I'm like, I'll make a joke. I'll be like, haha, I'll listen to you. I'll give you advice, but I was not sharing anything back. And it was like, okay for me to feel like that. I'm like, I like this because I don't want to share anything with anybody.
Be vulnerable.
Yeah, be vulnerable at all. Like I had no interest in it. So I'm like, I had a lot of one-sided friendships. And then I went to therapy and I was like talking more to myself. And then like something about therapy like unlocked me. I'm like, I want to share things. But I have the same friends and they're like, they weren't saying this objective. They were just like, it's weird that I never had to ask you anything. So it's weird. And then I started feeling comfortable. I'm like getting mad. I'm like, why don't they ever ask anything? Because I built this system already. And some friends were like, I started like sharing things. And they're like, oh, you join us, you're in. Yeah. But some friends were like, this is not what I signed up for. Yeah. I'm going to continue the same path of me blabbing everything to you and not getting anything from you. And then that's where I was like, I had to voice it. I'm like, I do enjoy you as a friend, but I do want to share more. And if they didn't want to do it, then that's that. But I did want to tell them at least, because I felt like in my situation, I was changing the dynamic of our friendship. Yeah. And I was like, well, you need to know. Because maybe you did one on one side where you just blab. And I'm like, I can't necessarily do that anymore if we're going to be close. But I do agree with your acquaintances. We're like, well, some people, yeah, we're just, I rock with you, but I don't rock with you.
Yeah.
But people I rock with, I'm like, it's going to be a two-way street. It's not going to be a one-way thing anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's where I feel like in that relationship, if I wanted it to be more, it probably would be fair to be like, hey, we should talk more. But I'm like, I'm okay with it falling away.
Some people you don't need to put the energy into. Like, it doesn't serve me that much to.
Mm-hmm. All right. So top comment. I have lived my life by a simple rule. I have lots of acquaintances, but I can count my friends on one or two hands. I enjoy my time with my acquaintances, but I always know that in a pinch, only my friends have my back and can be counted on. Learning to separate the two is an important life lesson.
Yes.
Amen.
Yeah. That's what I had to learn.
I do think like saying it to people is a little toxic. Like you don't have to your acquaintance, you don't have to say it. I think like making people know like you're not a friend.
No.
I feel like that part's toxic. Some people want to let you know like you're not that close to me. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I just like it is what it is. I don't got to be like you're an acquaintance. This is my friend. And some people really have that vibe of like I need you to know that you're not my friend. And I never like that.
Yeah,
I
I think
like
that's not fair.
That's more of a sorry.
What were you saying?
So I feel like some people know that about me because I'm comfortable with some people. So I'll share a lot of things. And then with others, it takes me a while to like get me to say something. I'm fine, but I'm really not. But I'll go blabber to this person. Like,
the problem is too, you start side-eyeing people when they start asking questions.
Like, her eye just went side. Side right now.
Because I noticed that about you. I never knew what it was, but now you saying that makes sense. Because you would be like,
why are you asking?
Why are you asking me? Like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, like, no, I'm fine, but let me go tell Brandon what's really wrong. And yeah,
I never knew what that was. That's so funny.
I had to learn the difference of who I should give all my information to.
Yeah. And I think, it is toxic because the big difference is there's a way you can put them in that category of being an acquaintance without telling them. And the big way you do it is by first acknowledging if you feel like you want them to be a friend, first you have to talk like, hey, I just don't feel like stuff is being reciprocated. Mm-hmm. And then whatever their response is how you move from that point on.
Yeah.
Which, like, usually you can tell, like, with those friends, like, for OP in her situation, her not being vulnerable is fine. Because the friend will never realize that she's not being vulnerable.
Some people are so self-absorbed, they'll never notice.
Yeah, they'll never notice. Or, you know, if you're... Yeah, it's just easy. Just don't do what you're doing for the friendship and just let it be. But like if they call you, hey, what's up? You know, I'm chilling. How you doing?
Yeah.
Because that's gonna be the worst thing. If you're pulling away, I know that friend's gonna be like, well, you like playing this party for me, like you want to do it again, like and then they're gonna be like, why are you being like this?
I can't.
It's like for not playing a party, like is there something bigger that you want to talk about? No.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be toxic. That'd be toxic. But yeah, just I could see with that might have the conundrum, but even then, your no is a full sentence. If you say no, it's the only word that could be like, well, not one of the only words that could be a full sentence. Yeah. No does not need an explanation.
Ooh.
Amen.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah, dude. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for making my boyfriend's mom cry because of a petty rule?
You're an adult.
Oh, we don't know that.
Dang,
the
people
mother?
don't have love for people's significant others' moms.
Especially today.
Am I the asshole for making my boyfriend's mom cry because of a petty rule? So me, 21 female, and my boyfriend, 24 male, have been together for almost 2 years and live together. His mother is very involved in his life. Some might say overbearing, but I try to be respectful. She's nice, but has this way of like pushing boundaries while acting like she means well. So the issue, I have a no shoes in the house rule. My boyfriend is cool with it. All of my friends do it no problem, but his mom refuses. She claims it's rude to ask guests to take their shoes off and that it makes her feel disrespected. I tried explaining that it's just a cleanliness thing, but she won't budge. Last weekend, she came over and surprise, walked in with her shoes on. I very politely, I swear, said, "Oh, can you take those off, please?" She kind of huffs and is like, "You're really going to make me do this?" And I just stood there waiting. She sighs dramatically, takes them off, and spends the whole time sulking. Then I get a text from my boyfriend's dad saying I made her cry and she feels like I'm trying to assert dominance over her in her son's home, which is our home, actually. My boyfriend is on my side, but now his parents are acting like I've disrespected the Queen of England. Am I the asshole for standing my ground on a very normal rule?
No.
She's crying because she has to take her shoes off. I can't.
Oscar just laying here with his eyes open is so weird to me.
He's just farting over here.
He's just wondering when we're going to wrap it up.
He is.
He's looking off into the distance.
He's like,
there.
I'll act like I'm sleeping, but I'm not.
He's not. He's just laying there. I've done that before. That's weird. Yeah, this is...
Like, get real. Just take off your shoes.
Just take off your shoes. It's not your house.
How old are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, the crying is crazy. Just bawling
She
about
made me take off my shoes.
You're like, oh, okay.
And for, the,
Just your shoes?
Cool.
for the dad to text the girlfriend,
Yeah.
like, bro, no. If Eve were to do that stupid stuff, and our kids, like, you know, daughter did that, I'd be like, grow up. It's a pair of shoes. Take them off. You
Yeah.
know, like I wouldn't be like, oh man, you're such a disrespectful person.
Yeah,
Like,
the
really,
fact
bro?
that he's affirming her, I'm like,
Like, come on.
this is
It's
madness.
just shoes.
Well, she had probably had
It's
holes
just
in her
feet.
socks, and she was like, I was never going to take my shoes off. I just put my shoes on. Now I'm embarrassed. Now I'm drunk from this punch, got a hole in my sock, and like it sucks here.
That's good.
She like drunkenly slips down the stairs, dude.
like-
She's like, sorry, I was just drinking a lot.
It's water, Mom. There's nothing in there.
Well, if I had my shoes on, I wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have slipped.
It sounds like everybody's just living in the mom's world, though. I feel like that's why the dad texted. He's like, it's easier just to appease her,
100%.
which is not right.
Yeah.
But
I'm not dealing with this. I'm just
going to push it off on somebody else who
Yeah.
she has a problem with before she has a problem with me.
Because for me, I'm just used to taking off my shoes.
Yeah.
When I feel
Especially
like
in
that's
that
like you don't know what I'm bringing in here from outside, so just take off your
Yeah,
shoes.
it's more disrespectful for you to, you step in a dog turd tracking into someone's house. That's grounds on getting swung on, man. Come on.
yeah.
Because it's like,
Always
if you
wants
do
to
track something in, are you going to vacuum?
Right.
Are you going to clean it up?
Exactly, bro. I want you to scrub that shag carpet by hand.
So that's the episode, but we're going to do another Patreon story. But that's the episode.
Yeah. 5
So-
people.
Ely'ssia, thanks for being back. Skylar, thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Because he threatened us. He's like, I've been at every Ely'ssia episode, but I'm behind the camera. He's like, if I'm not on an episode, he'll destroy the set. I think he said that before.
He did not.
No, I
He-
just said I would write a very angry letter to the publishers.
Oh, okay. Which is fine, I think.
Skylar has been very nice and respectful, waiting for Ely'ssia to get done filming.
Yeah.
And I would assume he'd be bored, but he usually has stuff to add. So I'm like, why don't we get Skylar actually on the couch?
Because the second time you actually let him in the house, the first time you were like, wait outside.
I was like, wait outside.
You're like, she'll come out in a
Ooh.
couple hours, wait outside.
Yeah, I just sat out on the front porch with a 40.
Yeah, I was like,
He just gets closer and closer to the episode. Let's never do a 5-person episode again. It makes me hard to focus.
Yeah.
it is difficult. It's different.
Yeah.
I think 4 people, it's easier to keep a conversation, but
Yeah.
5 people, it's like,
Yeah.
And especially when, like, you get these well-educated people.
Yeah.
And they're, like, giving their takes. And, like, by the time you get to mine, I'm like, yeah, I said,
Yeah, what
everybody
he
said
said.
it.
Yeah, Jamba Juice. Jamba.
Jamba.
He called me well educated.
Nah, I think he was talking to everyone but you.
Nah, I'll let her have that one. I see growth in you, young lady.
Education.
Connection.
No, I shouldn't have said it. As soon as I said it, I was like, why am I saying this?
Get connected for
Just because her
free.
forehead's getting bigger doesn't mean the brain's getting bigger.
Crazy.
Forehead is not getting bigger.
Okay, those two are bickering, so
Yeah.
we're
We
gonna
have to
shoot
cut
another
it.
Yeah, we gotta
episode
cut it.
behind the wall.
Behind the
Another
wall.
story.
Whoa!
Thank you guys all for being here, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Just hit the like and subscribe. Just for that.
Subscribe.